the MCU's Phase 4 trailer. What did it tell us? Hey, what's up, Nerd fam? This is your boy Krishan. I want to welcome you to Enter the Nerd. Today, we're going to talk about Phase 4, specifically the trailer that Marvel came out with last week, which showcased a couple of upcoming properties that are going to be highlighting Phase 4. Now, right in the beginning of that trailer, they gave us kind of like the roadmap to how we got to this place, right? And then it led directly to a showcase of things that we've seen before, like Black Widow, so on and so forth. And then giving us some titles of some things that we didn't know. So for example, the new Black Panther movie, Black Panther Wakanda Forever, the Marvels, and of course the Eternals. Now, before we get into some of those newer properties that I didn't name at the end of that, what I want to talk about is what Phase 4, what I expect in Phase 4 versus what's probably going to happen here. So I do expect for them to, what I would like at least, to see more character-driven arcs, meaning more siloed approach maybe. So character A having their story maybe on Disney Plus, B and C, and then when they come together, it's more organic versus their stories just being served as like a set piece for a larger story, because that's what you want to happen in the end. And that's what happened through phases 1 through 3. And I get it, that was just like their approach and how they decided to curate it. But it's not the only way that you can curate it, right? Also, maybe even having some of these events spill over into Disney Plus, or have Disney Plus specific events which don't happen on film. That'd be really, really cool as well. So I'm hoping they take more advantage on both mediums and use them creatively, right? Also, I hope, and this is a hope obviously, that they're able to get directors who actually care about the source material, because we have tons of directors that just don't really care, do whatever they want with the characters, kill off characters that shouldn't be killed, which is another thing. If you're going to be having like a larger universe, you don't have to kill off all these villains. Like, everybody has like their own rose gallery, and they can just be, like in the comics, lock them up in like a prison, do something where they can come back and maybe help another villain and serve as a larger part of a different plot, right? That's something that we can also do. But obviously that takes more creative writing, because when you just eliminate it, it's like, okay, new thread of writing, I don't have to worry about interweaving too many things. But if you're trying to make this a reflection of a comic universe as well, because that's where these characters evolve, they originate from, you got to be able to craft the story like that. And I think since this Phase 4, this means that hopefully they've been learning from every single phase. So you should be thinking about that, because a lot of these fans are getting smarter. Obviously, people are getting more critical, but not in a bad way. Like, when you listen to critique and make your product better. So I think that's what I'm also expecting here. Also, the rated R properties. Deadpool is going to be rated R. Blade should be rated R, but Kevin Feige has pretty much said like Deadpool's going to be the only one that's rated R, which seems kind of ridiculous to me, especially because you know how successful it was and how ultra violent the character is, and you give it a lot more freedom, especially if you pair him up with Morbius later, which I'm hearing is a rumor. Why not? That could be an awesome movie. Take advantage of those type of things, right? Fantastic Four, obviously they're going to be playing a large role, and so is the X-Men. So I need to see what that's going to be, because obviously Kang is going to be in Ant-Man 3, Quantumania. So if Kang is going to be there, that means the Fantastic Four has to be around. But what does that mean? What role they're going to play? Like, since they're there, are they still going to be Marvel's first family? Or the fact that Kang is now, I guess he's going to be race swapped, I guess. So does that mean the Fantastic Four are also going to be race swapped as well? Or are we going to be looking at a repeat of Josh Trank's Fantastic Four? It's going to be very, 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 very weird, right? Well, I just need to see what's going to... It could be good. It could be really, really good. But I just want to see what they have to play in there. But obviously, repeating, the X-Men have to come. They already have Sword, which appeared in Astonishing X-Men. So it makes sense for this to be here as well. But now, for the main pieces, which is the things that they were focusing on mainly in this trailer. So you have the Black Panther sequel, Black Panther Wakanda Forever. Clearly a reference to the first film, and obviously trying to pay some respect to Chadwick Boseman, which is cool. But obviously, if you watch any of my previous videos, you know they have to have some respect for the character T'Challa, because T'Challa is the key to all the Wakanda lore. Like, it's actually, his family. Now, they're saying they want to have Shuri go into the mantle of Black Panther. Cool, it has happened in the comics, but there was context behind it in the comics which does not exist in the films, unless they're going to try and inject it there. But even if you do that, that was only a role she held temporarily because T'Challa came back. So if they're saying that right now, maybe they're not going to recast him for the second movie and they'll bring him back later, I'm down with that. But to remove him completely out of respect for Chadwick Boseman seems kind of weird. And that they keep on, they have this Wakanda Forever, then they're going to make another show called World of Wakanda. So it's like you're trying to build up Wakanda without the main piece for which all the Wakanda stories really revolve around, which is T'Challa. So it's kind of odd to me. But I know how personal it is for the people who are making the film, but you got to remember this character existed before that. So it gives me weird feelings about where the direction is they're going. And once again, that whole knowing about the lore versus what story that you feel comfortable telling, right? Next would be the Eternals. Now, my big thing with the Eternals, a lot of people don't know it, and that's okay. I like it when mainstream media makes obscure properties known. That's great, which is why there really isn't an excuse for, palette swapped characters, because you can just make original characters that people don't know popular usually when you put them in medium like this. Now, how are the Eternals going to go into everything? How are they going to pair into the events that we've already seen? Are they going to, go back in retrospect? Have they been there watching the whole time? I want to see them tell a creative story. They also have Black Knight coming in there, which is getting played by Kit Harington. So let's just see how creative they get here. Are any of these characters going to die? There's going to be one-offs. A lot of ground they have to cover. I don't understand some of the changes in terms of like Icarus. Like why isn't he blonde? Like little things like that make me wonder, is that the actor? Why don't these characters look like they do in the comics? Why? Even some little, he doesn't have to have the same costume. That might look a little weird, but why not? That was weird. Whatever. So that little things like that give me worry, because if they can't even get something like that right, the bigger parts are probably going to be a little messy too. But I haven't seen the movie, so I can't place a whole bunch of judgment on that. I'm just saying, there's clues. There's clues to that. So yeah, hopefully that's great. The next thing would be the Marvels, which obviously is supposed to be a Captain Marvel 2 movie, but now we see they're going to be going towards the Marvels, meaning Captain Marvel, Miss Marvel, and probably Monica Rambeau, who's going to be the Spectrum or Photon, whichever one they want to go to. Now, obviously, my issue with this is that technically what they've always done to Monica Rambeau has been a travesty, because they've had her looking up to Carol Danvers, where really she was Captain Marvel before Carol Danvers was. She was actually Miss Marvel, right? And then making her, look up to her and make her a product of a single parent household. All these things that just never actually happened in her storyline. And now they say that they might even kill off Brie Larson just so Monica could get the Captain Marvel mantle afterwards. They can keep that. Honestly, that's just, come on, really? That's just such a lazy thing to do. And I'm even hearing, rumors because, Marvel, the Marvels, they might even introduce Blue Marvel here, which is, a lot of people want to see Blue Marvel. I want to see Blue Marvel, but not in this, because he will definitely be a very nerfed version if they decide to just have him on as a peripheral character like this, which I would not want at all. But I would like to see him have his own Disney Plus series. So if you want to introduce him, do the whole Adam Legend of Blue Marvel, and you'd be good with me. So besides that, there's some interesting things going on. I know when I talk to a lot of people, generally they're not as interested in this or as invested as they were in phases 1 through 3, because they don't really know the direction and it seems to be all over the place, but it could come together, and I am cautiously optimistic. Like I said, I've been critical of things that Marvel has done, especially when it comes to source material, and what they like to play hard and fast with, Thor Love and Thunder, and having the Jane Foster Thor appear before Beta Ray Bill or Thunderstrike, even pretty much not using Sif. Things like that are very troubling, where there's a whole comics kind of give you literally a colored storyboard for you to follow off of, and it's very easy to do that, but they don't, and they choose just weird alternatives. So I have my words for phase 4, but I am optimistic, because out of both two major film universes, the MCU and DCEU, no matter what you think about Marvel's Kitty, whatever, because some people go, but it's just so light, I hate the jokes, whatever, it is a better curated product than what's happening with the DCEU. That doesn't mean you can't like DC more or the heroes. I'm not saying that. And people are like, oh, but you just love Marvel. Now, do I prefer Marvel comics over DC? Sure. But in terms of the film universe, it has just to do with their execution. That's all I'm speaking of right now. And I think they're still going to be better executed, and it just shows right here. But yeah, let me know what you think. Do you love what you see with phase 4 so far? Do you have your worries? Let's talk about it below. And while you do that, make sure you subscribe to the channel and enter the nerd.